Confucius Teachings on Building a Happy Life, 33. Guidelines for being a good person. A foundation for Mahayana Buddhism practice. Validated by Master Jin Kong. Speaker, Teacher Cai Li Xu. Elaborating 弟子规 in detail, 33.
各位朋友，大家好。
Hello, my friends. We have talked about being prudent in speech and deed the past few days. We must be extra cautious and respectful, paying particular attention when interacting with others. The Chinese have a saying, great integrity and personality is often cultivated in a dark room, while the statecraft ability of changing a course of events is gained from an exceedingly cautious attitude. It tells us a truth. From where can we start to nurture very pure integrity? It starts when one is alone. When no one is watching, he still keeps his deeds and words consistent. Only then can he cultivate such integrity. Therefore, the details of life are also a great knowledge to learn. As for the statecraft ability of changing a course of events, from where do we start to lay the foundation? From having an exceedingly cautious attitude. From treating every person and thing with respect and cautiousness. Only then can one accomplish a great task in the future. This is because he has been accumulating the prudent attitude little by little. It is mentioned in Zhu Lu's maxims for managing the family. Humble yourself to become close to those who are virtuous and experienced. You will be able to rely on them during times of urgency. So only a person who is very careful in the small details can truly perform important tasks well. If he does not care about details, many minor situations may occur when he really undertakes a major job. Very possibly, he may even lose track. As parents, we must often remind children of small details from their early age. Also, we should pay more attention to our own thoughts in these small matters and further correct them right away. Yesterday we mentioned, in virtues and learning, in ability and skill, if I am not as good as others, I will encourage myself to be better. As for clothing and attire or food and drink, if I am not as good as others, I will not feel inferior. The current social ethos is full of superficial vanity and tends to advocate material comfort. Many people may be very poor, but what clothes do they buy? Very extravagant ones. They wear them to show off to others. Perhaps his wife and children are going hungry at home, but he is still pretending to be wealthy. In fact, this kind of attitude towards life is very hypocritical and fake. It is absolutely not because you have a lot of money in your pocket that a person truly respects you from his heart. Or is it? Definitely not. When one is very courteous to you because of your enormous wealth, who is he being polite to? Money. Wait until you have given him all your money. His attitude towards you may change instantly. As the saying goes, the friendship of virtuous men is plain like water, but the friendship of petty-minded men is like sweet honey. Why is the friendship of petty-minded men sweet as honey? Because they have a purpose. They will go to any length to fawn on and flatter you. Many people are caught in this situation, thinking that these people value and respect them so much. In the end, they may fall for the petty man's tricks. Why is the virtuous people's friendship plain like water? Because their association with you is based on virtue. As your friendship grows, though it seems plain, it is true friendship. He will not cling to you every day. Because you are both very clear that each of you has responsibilities as a son, subordinate, husband, or wife. Since everyone has many duties that must be fulfilled, how can they spend all of their time with you all day? They would certainly say, "It's already past 8 o'clock. Aren't you going home to read moral education stories with your son? You would better go home." Though it seems plain, it is true friendship. There is mutual care and understanding under the plain surface. So it is true that material abundance does not win the respect of others for you. You may even plunge into a bottomless chasm in pursuit of materialism. It is said, desires are like a bottomless abyss. We also mentioned yesterday, how long will one be happy after she has spent plenty of money on an expensive dress? 3 days. How long will she suffer? She may have to eat instant noodles for the whole month, causing her health to deteriorate. Suppose one is tempted by a luxury sports car and buys it. How long will he be happy? 1 or 2 months. And during that period of happiness, his wife will be put on the back shelf. What has that car become? The first wife. Wiping the car every day, he will turn a blind eye to his own wife. The happiness lasts 1 to 2 months, but how long do you need to pay back the loan? It may be 2 to 3 years. While repaying the loan, he may feel pain. To be honest, when one likes to pursue these kind of name brand and expensive things, what happens when he sees a new model coming out after 6 months or a year, and other people driving a newer model than him? He will feel a bit uncomfortable, get excited, and run out to buy a new one. Oftentimes, he wants to buy the new model before he has finished paying off the loan. He may then become a slave to material things for life. Not only he himself becomes a slave to material things, even his family members may be inflicted. Many people wish to buy a luxurious villa to show off their social prestige. Are there such kind of people?
Yes!
Our ancestors remind us that even if your wealth is counted in the millions, how many meals do you eat a day? 3 meals a day. Why bother to pursue such superficial things? Millionaires still eat 3 meals a day. Even if you own a massive mansion, how much space do you need when you lie down to sleep at night? Only 6 feet. Indeed, people have very few material needs. As the saying goes, true happiness lies in contentment. When you are content, your life will be very relaxing and simple, which is very good for your physical and mental health. We must realize this. Say you pay a lot of attention to eating really well. Let us think about it. Chinese usually receive many wedding invitations before Lunar New Year because they often say, whether rich or poor, get married for the new year. Receiving so many invitations, I once went to 3 wedding banquets in a week. After all that eating for 3 days, how would you feel? like you could not bear to eat anymore. All that oily food like meat and fish cannot compare with the joy and ease of eating light tofu and cabbage. Many people pursue a high-end house because during the conversation with others, they are afraid to hear such words. I have a luxury villa in such and such a place. When he hears it, he will feel upset that others have such a place and he does not. He will then work very hard day and night to make money and finally buy a villa. Well, how long would he stay there in a year? He may go there 3 to 5 times a year, and every time he would stay for 2 to 3 days. But he has to hire 1 or 2 servants to help him guard this villa. How long would these servants live there in a year? Since they stay in this villa every day, they are the ones enjoying it. So, my friends, who is actually blessed? Who is the one blessed? The employed servants have real blessings, while the owner must work very hard to pay the mortgage. Indeed, we must think carefully. What kind of life can truly benefit our body and mind? Do not pursue illusory material enjoyment. In virtue and learning, in ability and skill, if I am not as good as others, I will encourage myself to be better. A Chinese idiom states, possessing both virtues and talents. Virtue is mentioned first, while talent is mentioned after it. Therefore, this idiom implies which one, virtue or talent, is more important? Possessing both virtues and talents. So virtue is more important than talent. In modern times, there is a calligrapher, Mr. Lin Sanzhi, who is revered as a contemporary sage of calligraphy in cursive script. The Japanese have great respect for his calligraphy. When Japanese calligraphers come to China, they will go to his house to pay respect to him. They greatly admire his calligraphy and his personal character. Mr. Lin Sanzhi once said, "One with virtues and talents will cherish talented people. One with talents but without virtues will be jealous of talented people. One with virtues but without talents will know how to use talented people. One with neither virtues nor talents will destroy talented people." So if we hire an employee, how should we choose? We must select those who possess both virtues and talents. Otherwise, we should at least choose those with virtues but without talents. Because when one is virtuous, he will know how to embrace and appreciate the talents of others. He understands, upon seeing the good points of others, I should strive to be as good as them. He knows how to cherish talented people. But if he only possesses talents with no virtues, he will certainly be jealous of others. If he has neither virtues nor talents, he will destroy talented people. In the spring and autumn period, there was a prime minister in the state of Qin named Li Si. Since he only possessed talents but no virtues, he would be very jealous when he saw talented people. He was jealous of his junior, Han Feizi, and he even framed Han, which resulted in Han's death. Not only did he incriminate Han Feizi, but also the scholars. He suggested to Emperor Qin Shi Huang to burn the Confucian classics and bury alive the Confucian scholars. All the saints' and sages' teachings were burned. This offense was too serious. Later, Li Si did not meet with a good end either. Both he and his son were executed by being cut in half in the East Market. This is about someone who only has talents but not virtues. He will be jealous of the talented people. So when we nurture children, we must attach greater importance to virtues. If we do not focus our attention on his virtue, then his life will never be happy, no matter how highly talented you have cultivated him to be. Because being jealous of others certainly causes pain inside. Furthermore, his jealousy of others will also create many obstacles in his life. Others will be jealous of him as well. We must be cautious in this area. I know a calligrapher named Li Chuanjun. Teacher Li once served as a calligraphy judge, and he found that the works of some students had been written by their teachers. Are there such situations? If we parents and teachers act like this, we are actually not educating children, but are misleading them. This misguidance will make them think that they can be unruly and achieve their goals by hook or by crook. As a result, they have planted a very unwholesome cause in children's mind. Their life may be ruined in the future due to breaking rules and violating laws. Since virtue is the foundation of a person's career in life, it would be dangerous if it is not properly established. It is just like a big tree. If its roots are not firmly rooted, the taller its trunk grows and the bigger the shade becomes, sooner or later it will be uprooted when a gust of wind blows. There are many cases like this. That is why one's evil karmas are usually created during his pinnacle period. When he is at his apogee, he will commit many wrongdoings if he is unvirtuous. So later, Teacher Li insisted on excluding those students whose teacher had written their papers, so that children who had really written by themselves could receive recognition. Teacher Li once said to me that he had sought out many calligraphy teachers and had spent a lot of money seeking their advice, but had failed to acquire true skills. After going around in search of a good teacher, he became dejected and destitute. Due to his sense of mission to inherit and pass down Chinese art, as a saying describes that heaven will not disappoint those who keep trying, he finally met a teacher to whom he is greatly indebted. His teacher not only did not charge him anything, but let him stay in his house and learn with him. So, my friends, if you want your child to acquire true skills, you do not necessarily need to spend huge sums of money. If these artists requested a lot of money as tuition, it actually reveals whether they have virtue or only talents. When a person only possesses talents but not virtue, his talents and level of art will definitely run into bottlenecks and not progress further. Because art is also a manifestation of one's mental state. Why do many works of art deeply touch people's heart? They are directly related to the benevolence, the state of mind, and the self-cultivation of the artist. So when this teacher Li met his calligraphy teacher who taught him many important core methods and skills, his teacher said to him, "If you don't have true virtues, I have harmed you for a lifetime by teaching you these skills." He continued, "Because after I teach you these skills, you will probably gain both fame and wealth within a short period of time, and this moment will be a dangerous time in your life. At this time, if you don't know how to be humble, you will invite a lot of jealousy. Since you also don't know how to restrain yourself to live a frugal and diligent life, You may develop extravagant habits. We have also seen many people in the art world who were once favored and famous, but became dejected in their later years. That is all because of those bad habits of extravagance they had formed. Teacher Li deeply grasped his teacher's words and sincerely followed his teachings by upholding modesty at all times. At only 33 years old, he had won several big awards, and he often volunteered to offer teaching. I have also invited him to Haikou to instruct us in calligraphy. He came for a whole week without taking any pay, and he even brought a lot of brushes to give to our teachers. So virtue is vital because it is the foundation of myriad fortunes. Only by having virtue as a foundation can one's fortune be stable. When Lao Tzu was preparing to leave China, he encountered an official who asked him,
I have 2 sons, but I don't know which one I should rely on in the future.
Lao Tzu took a handful of money and put it on the table. Lao Tzu then said to the official's 2 sons, first to the elder one,
You just have to hit your father once, and all this money will be yours.
The elder son was more simple-minded. He lowered his head and said, No way! How can I hit my dad? He would rather die than obey. After that, Lao Tzu turned to the younger son, who was clever, smart, and had a quick mind. Most parents would think that such a child is better and may brag about him everywhere. You see, my younger son is so smart! Lao Tzu said to him, You can just hit your dad lightly, and this money is yours. The younger son immediately went to hit his father lightly and quickly put the money in his pocket. Lao Tzu said to the father, Now you know who you should depend on in your old age. Later, this official passed away, and it was indeed his elder son taking care of him in his old age. His younger son had gone to other places to do business. When the news of his father's death reached him, he said,
It would take a while for me to travel back and forth. I wonder how much less money I would make.
In the end, he did not even attend his father's funeral. So Lao Tzu had great wisdom, as he could infer a child's intention from his behavior. Because a person who attaches great importance to profit will surely abandon righteousness. If there is a conflict with his interest, he will not care and will put profit first. Ordinary people may particularly appreciate children who are clever and smart, but often it is the more honest children taking care of the parents in their old age. We have also heard of a mother who gave birth to 3 children. 2 elder children graduated from college, while the youngest child only graduated from high school. Later, which child took care of her? Well, the higher education one has, the more selfish he will become. He was only thinking of himself. We also see many parents sending their children to study abroad. After graduation, they do not come back to take care of their parents in their remaining years. These children usually leave and never return. Some get married there, and their parents have to travel overseas to visit them. When they are going to leave after a period of stay, what will the daughter-in-law take out?
The bill for their living expenses.
Truly his parents' blood would boil. Had they known it would come to this, they would not have given birth to him in the first place. So if children do not develop virtues, they will really drive their parents mad. They will indeed harm their family and society. Therefore, we must be farsighted when educating children by regarding virtue as the foundation. Let us look at the next phrase. Becoming angry upon hearing my faults and happy upon hearing praise will cause harmful friends to come and beneficial friends to leave. Becoming fearful upon hearing praise and happy upon hearing my faults will make upright and forgiving people gradually come closer to me. Let us recall when we talked about trustworthiness. At the beginning, we said, when I speak, credibility is foremost. This represents credibility in speech. As for cunning words and foul language, such vulgar manners must be prohibited refers to our attitude when talking. When we talk very rudely, we will not be able to win others' trust. When you can practice the teachings in this part on trustworthiness, you will make people have great trust in you as they are very convinced by you. For example, when I am unsure of what I am seeing, I will not rashly speak of it. When I am still unsure of what I know, I will not hastily spread it. When you can do this, your friends will certainly think that you are well cultivated and have a sense of propriety. Then, your long-term social credibility will continue to improve. It is like this phrase we just recited, becoming angry upon hearing my faults and happy upon hearing praise. If we get angry when we hear our faults, or become proud when others praise us, can we gain our friends' trust with such an attitude? It will be very difficult. We will cause harmful friends to come and beneficial friends to leave. Why will harmful friends come? Because they know well that as long as they say a few nice words to you, you will lose your rationality. And then they will have an opportunity to take advantage. That is why immoral friends will come. Beneficial friends will go away. Why will beneficial friends go away? Because these virtuous people know that, as a friend, it is their duty to give frank advice without concealing anything. When you have shortcomings, a virtuous friend will honestly point it out. When you cannot accept it, what will he do? He has to retreat first. Because if he does not do that and you see him often, you will feel annoyed when you see him. In order not to trouble you, he has to back off for a while. He will wait until you are really willing to accept his kind advice before he comes back to you again. Do people like to listen to nice words or honest words?
Nice words!
When is this habit formed? So the attitude of becoming fearful upon hearing praise and happy upon hearing my faults must be rooted from childhood. When teaching this sentence, the teacher in our center would remind the students,
when others tell you about your shortcomings today, it is as if your face happens to have a black thing stuck on it, and you are able to remove it because someone told you. Shouldn't you thank them? Of course you should. When others point out your shortcomings, this is like they are helping you remove the dirt from your face. You surely need to thank them.
As a result, we often hear a very beautiful sentence whenever one child points out the other's faults. The children will bow and say, "Thank you for pointing out my mistake." when a child rectified his shortcomings, and we teachers give him encouragement at the right time by saying, "If I correct my faults, the faults will no longer exist," he will be even happier to rectify his shortcomings. Thus, planting this root from an early age will be of great benefit to him throughout his life. Becoming fearful upon hearing praise and happy upon hearing my faults reminds me of a story from the Song dynasty. At that time, there was a great poet, Su Dongpo. He and Zen master Fo Yin were good friends, and they often learned from each other. One day, Su Dongpo felt that his cultivation realm was very good. So he wrote a poem which reads, "I kowtow to the Buddha, whose light illuminates the cosmos. Unmoved by the 8 winds, I sit upright on the purplish golden lotus." Su Dongpo believed his cultivation realm was very good, and even the 8 winds could not affect his pure mind. Dear friends, what are the 8 winds? Prosperity, decline, suffering, happiness, praise, censure, disgrace, and honor. Prosperity refers to times when your life is smooth sailing. Decline is when you are at a low ebb. Suffering is when one is in pain, while happiness is when one is filled with joy. People often keep complaining when they suffer pain, and extreme joy turns into sorrow once they are overjoyed. These states are testing a person's cultivation. Next is praise, which may cause complacency. Censure, when others criticize us, we feel angry and uncomfortable. There are also disgrace and honor. Disgrace refers to defaming us, and honor means that when we have a very good reputation, we may give rise to arrogance. So Su Dongpo thought that these 8 winds could not affect his mental state, and that he could maintain his purity. Thus he wrote this poem and had his servant bring it to Zen master Fo Yin. When the master finished reading it, he wrote one word, "fart," on the paper and gave it to his servant. How was Su Dongpo looking forward to seeing the master's response? He might have been thinking, "Hurry up and praise me!" In fact, had he been moved by the 8 winds? Yes. He desired to be praised and to hear some pleasing words. After seeing Zen master Fo Yin's reply, he seethed with rage and quickly rushed to the master's residence. When he reached the master's gate, the door was closed and 2 lines were posted on it. "Unmoved by the 8 winds, one broken wind struck you to cross the river." When Su Dongpo saw the words, he felt very ashamed and left. So we need to constantly watch ourselves and see whether we are also affected by the 8 winds. We must always watch our thoughts and eliminate these bad habits. Only then will we not commit the mistake of becoming angry upon hearing my faults and happy upon hearing praise. The next phrase states, "Becoming fearful upon hearing praise and happy upon hearing my faults will make upright and forgiving people gradually come closer to me." We have also seen that when a monarch is very magnanimous and can accept the exhortations of his ministers, these loyal and virtuous ministers will surely point out his shortcomings earnestly so that the state's policies can truly help the people. Likewise, when our students or children point out our faults, we parents and teachers must humbly accept them as well. Many elders may think, "Will I be inferior when confessing mistakes to children?" In fact, it is just the opposite. When we teachers have really made a mistake, let's say we have violated the teaching of a certain phrase in 弟子规, and we say to the student right away, I have made a mistake here, I'll rectify it. I am learning together with you all. Usually, when a teacher admits wrong, what can be seen in children's eyes? Their respect for the teacher. So admitting one's faults is a virtue. People are not sages. Who can have no fault? When one can rectify his wrongs, nothing is better than this. Thus, when the elders take the initiative to correct their misdeeds and reform, it will also encourage the entire group to have the courage to admit their mistakes. When we have many friends around us who can proactively give us advice, it is like having a lot more bright eyes helping us see the way in life. Since we only have two eyes, sometimes we cannot see to the sides or behind when we look in front. When you have the humility to accept other people's exhortations, naturally everyone will help you. In Chinese culture, plum, orchid, bamboo, and chrysanthemum are regarded as the four gentlemen. They represent the four kinds of virtues of a gentleman. Why does bamboo signify the virtue of a gentleman? Because bamboo is hollow inside, it suggests to accept righteous advice with an ever humble and broadened mind. So, upon seeing the good points of others, I should strive to be as good as them. Similarly, when we see the good points of things, we should emulate them. That is why our ancestors also learned from myriad things other than people. When we see the virtues of myriad things, we should also reflect and correct ourselves. I once said to my students, what virtue does bamboo possess and what can you learn from it? I let them observe by themselves. My friends, what can you learn from bamboo? In learning, we have to be keen. An important crux of learning is being perceptive. Only by being perceptive can we deduce many things from one instance, and always cultivate and improve ourselves every time we come into contact with people, matters, and things. Other than humility, what other virtues does bamboo have? When we look at bamboo's appearance, do we see just one bamboo? What can we see? They grow in a group. Since it is a group, every branch is very straight, as if everyone next to you is very upright. I believe you will not become crooked even if you want to. This is the importance of the environment. Even Mencius's mother had to move 3 times. So even if we had the good roots and quality as Mencius, we would still need to cultivate in a good environment. Therefore, parents must provide a very conducive learning environment for children. Let's take a closer look at the bamboo. It grows section by section. It also represents that life cannot always be smooth sailing, and there are bound to be some challenges. What must we do when we face challenges? Overcome them with great courage. Bamboo also breaks through obstacles one by one, so we must have a tenacious attitude to face life. Many of the answers given by the students would take us by surprise. One of the students said, "Teacher, bamboo has the spirit of serving others." I said, "Why do you say so?" He said, "Because bamboo shoots can be eaten, bamboo can be used to build houses, and its leaves can be used to make 粽子. So its whole body is dedicated to benefiting others." We should feel very ashamed when we hear this. Do we match the spirit of sacrifice like bamboo? we should treat people, matters, and things around us with a humble and respectful attitude by accepting their righteous advice and learning from them. That will add a great deal of help to our lives. So becoming fearful upon hearing praise and happy upon hearing my faults will make upright and forgiving people gradually come closer to me. When you have this attitude, even plants may love and smile at you. Becoming fearful upon hearing praise. Why should we hold on to a vigilant attitude when we hear praise from others? Because our talents and even our achievements are definitely unattainable through individual effort. For instance, as we grew up, we depended on our parents' nurture and education, plus many elders' guidance and care, so that we could acquire these abilities. Hence, when we achieve success, we must first remember that these credits are theirs. Keeping this in mind, we will then not overestimate ourselves and become conceited. Correspondingly, the success of our course is attributed to everyone's help. During these few days of our lessons, many friends went to bed very late at night and woke up very early the next day to take care of various affairs and to cook for us. So to achieve one task is only possible with many people's efforts. We must always thank these people who have dedicated for us. When we have this kind of grateful mind, we will not feel happy but fearful upon hearing compliments. We must quickly make the best effort to do our part well and to repay the dedication of so many people. Let us look at the next phrase and recite it together. Doing wrong unintentionally is called making a mistake, while doing wrong intentionally is called committing an evil. If I correct my faults, the faults will no longer exist. If I try to cover them up, I will be doubly wrong. Doing wrong unintentionally is called making a mistake. It is said, one who is ignorant of his faults is not guilty. When someone commits wrongdoings unintentionally, we must embrace and forgive him. Otherwise, he would feel very bad. As for us, we need to be constantly watchful of ourselves and see if there is anything improper in our speech and deeds. For instance, 2 or 3 people walking side by side will make it inconvenient for the pedestrians behind to walk past them. Often when people meet a friend whom they have not seen for quite a while, they become oblivious to everything around them as soon as they start chatting. This is an unintentional fault. Sometimes when you call your friend, he may be about to go out. If you talk to him non-stop, he will not know where to cut you off or tell you that he is going out. As a result, he is held up there. How fast is his heartbeat then? Very rapid. This is also an inadvertent mistake. So when we call someone, we must first ask, "Are you okay to talk now?" We should always be considerate of others. When Confucius went to the imperial ancestral temple, he would ask about all matters. He would consult the staff in the imperial ancestral temple. Other people were wondering, why is the master asking everything in the temple when his knowledge is so extensive? His students then asked Confucius, and the master replied, "Asking is an act of respect for the matter. Furthermore, when we enter a new environment, that place may have its own rules. We must not do as we wish, as it may be rude." So when we go to a new environment, we must first learn about the way of life there. Even the furnishings and decorations we should not move or change anything without permission. We may think that we are being kind, but such an action may cause trouble for the local staff. We may possibly commit an inadvertent mistake. Next phrase, doing wrong intentionally, is called committing an evil. It means that we still do it despite knowing it is wrong. This is called intentional wrongdoing. It is evil and very unacceptable. Are there many such phenomena now? Many. Why? For example, a no smoking sign is obvious. Someone may still smoke openly. What is the reason?
He has never studied 弟子规.
Standard answer. The education has been lost. He has not learned the principles for life and work. Neither the teacher had taught him, nor had his parents reminded him. As stated in the Infinite Life Sutra, the deviation from goodness of the past generations is because they did not learn moral education. We will stop here today. Thank you, everyone. Please visit mahayanapureland.org for MP3 and full transcripts. Welcome to Circulate. No copyright. Infinite merits to propagate. Filial to parents, respect to teachers. See you again.